Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the battle between AMD and NVIDIA in the AI chip world.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting time to be looking at this, especially with NVIDIA's recent valuation. I mean, we're talking over $3 trillion,
Wow.
bigger than the GDP of lots of countries.
Yeah, and it's not just the size. It's that they're on the Dow Jones now, which
Absolutely. Yeah.
really signals that investor confidence.
Yeah, it shows stability and influence, and a lot of that is being driven by their AI chips. They're powering all sorts of things from like training AI models to the crazy graphics you see in video games.
So NVIDIA is kind of the star of the show right now. But what about AMD? Where do they fit into all of this?
AMD is a huge player in the chip market, don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but they're definitely trying to catch up in the AI world.
Right.
They are working on their own chips, though, and making some partnerships to try to get a bigger piece of the pie.
So it's kind of a David and Goliath situation then,
Yeah, you could say that.
with NVIDIA having the upper hand.
Yeah.
Are there any chinks in NVIDIA's armor?
Well, some analysts are a little worried about overvaluation. Their stock price is so high, some people think it can't last.
Yeah, investors need to be careful and think long term, not just follow the hype.
For sure. And that kind of brings us to AMD. Their stock actually dipped recently, even though they beat earnings expectations.
Oh, wow.
So it seems like investors are looking for more than just good numbers. They want to know what AMD's plan is for the future of AI.
Yeah, they want that wow factor that NVIDIA has, I guess.
Exactly. AMD needs to lay out a plan for how they're going to catch up and convince investors they can do it. And so that leads us to their recent earnings for Q3. They hit $6.8 billion in revenue, which was better than expected. And they also met earnings per share projections at 92 cents.
Financially, they're doing all right then.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Their stock still dropped by like 14% after the report.
Wow, that's a big drop after a good report. Why is that?
I think it comes down to confidence in their AI strategy. The overall performance is good, but analysts want to see a more concrete plan for how they're going to get a bigger part of that AI chip market.
So they're hitting the numbers, but investors want them to be more aggressive about AI.
Yeah, they want to see them really going after NVIDIA's dominance.
Okay, so what does that look like? What do they need to do?
Well, they need to invest in research and development, make partnerships with big players in AI, and come out with a roadmap for cutting-edge AI chips. They need to show they're not just keeping up, but getting ahead.
It sounds like they need to really play up their strengths and show everyone they have a vision for AI to get investors on board.
Right. And, one of AMD's strengths is that they often offer more affordable solutions, and that could be a big advantage in the AI market, which is getting more and more competitive.
Yeah, good point. If they highlight their advantages, they might be able to win over some investors.
For sure. But it's not just about the chips themselves, it's about the whole ecosystem around them.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, all the tools and software and things that developers need to use AMD's hardware to build and run AI applications.
Okay.
If they can make that whole process smoother and more efficient for developers, that could set them apart.
I see. So both companies are facing different challenges. NVIDIA has to stay on top and prove their value is real, and AMD has to show everyone they can really compete in AI.
Exactly. And we can't forget that the competition is getting tougher all the time with new companies coming in and everyone innovating like crazy.
So it's not just these two.
Nope. Intel, Google, even Amazon are getting into AI chips now. The companies that can keep innovating and deliver the best and most efficient solutions will win out in the end.
So investors need to be smart and look past the hype and really understand each company's strategy, their tech, their partners, and their overall vision. It's not like you could just buy into the most popular company and make money.
Exactly. You need to do your research and really understand AI and the technology and be in it for the long haul.
We keep talking about money and stocks, but what about the chips themselves? What makes these AI chips so special and so powerful?
Oh, that's a good question. So basically, these chips are made to handle a ton of data processing, which is what AI needs, especially for things like machine learning and deep learning.
Right.
NVIDIA, for example, they have these things called CUDA cores, which are like mini processors built just for AI. And they've made a whole ecosystem around those with software and tools for developers. So a lot of AI people use NVIDIA because of that.
So they have a head start in hardware and software. So how's AMD trying to compete on the tech side?
AMD is doing something pretty different with what they call a chiplet architecture. It's like they're combining different processing units on one chip, which gives them more flexibility. And it can be cheaper, too, which is a big deal for AI since you need so much processing power.
So NVIDIA has their CUDA platform, and AMD's going for flexibility and cost effectiveness with these chiplets.
Exactly. And it's not just about how the chips are built. AMD is also really good at CPUs. They've been competing with Intel for years there, and they're combining that CPU knowledge with their GPUs to make powerful AI solutions that can handle a lot of different tasks.
So it's a real battle of the titans then,
Hmm.
each company with their own strengths. So for investors who are trying to figure all this out, what should they be looking at?
They got to do their research, look at what each company is investing in research and development, who they're partnering with, and what their overall vision is for AI. NVIDIA might be ahead now, but AMD is serious competition, and they could really change things up.
And with other giants like Intel and Google and Amazon jumping in too, it's only going to get more intense.
Oh, for sure. The AI chip world is changing so fast. The companies that can keep innovating and coming up with the best and most efficient solutions will be the winners.
It's going to be a wild ride for sure.
Absolutely. One thing I think is important to remember is that it's not just about performance.
Hmm. What else is there?
Well, speed and all that is important, but people are starting to really care about power consumption and sustainability too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, as AI gets more complex and powerful, it takes a lot of energy to run.
Exactly. So now chip makers are trying to make AI chips that use less power, so they're better for the environment.
So it's not enough to just have the fastest chip anymore. It's got to be efficient too.
Right, and this is where things get really interesting. Companies like NVIDIA and AMD are coming up with totally new ways to design chips, like architectures that are made for specific AI tasks.
So you might have one chip that's great for language processing and another that's better for computer vision or robots.
Yeah, exactly. And that could lead to even more innovation and competition as companies try to make the best chip for every different type of AI.
Wow. So it sounds like the future of AI depends on these companies finding innovative and sustainable solutions.
Absolutely. It's not just about making money, it's about shaping the future of technology and making sure it benefits everyone.
Well said. Well, this has been a fascinating look at the world of AI chips. I've learned a lot.
Me too.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the future of tech.
See ya.